Hello, friends. What's going on, everybody? I'm King Basics, and welcome to the Royal Army. So we left off on Buried in an elevator with our newfound, not really a friend, Marcus, who's kind of giving us a lowdown on what's going on here inside this facility. We found out it's a top secret government agency that not even the CIA knows about, so there's that. But other than that, that's all we really know right now. So we left off with Marcus gives me a grin that looks nearly insane. Their guns locked away in every room in this place, just in case, you know. So, just in case of what? Or we're still in danger here? I mean, I would say just in case of what? As he opens his mouth to answer, the elevator comes to a stop and the doors slide open. Marcus is out right away, without a word. He makes his exit and heads directly for the glassed-in room that's filled with computer monitors and high-end equipment. Dennis and I file out behind him, trying to keep up. As we do, one very alarming question runs through my head. What the hell kind of government facility keeps loaded guns in emergency vaults in every single room? And I guess that's the end of chapter 2. Alright, well, let's dig right into chapter 3 then. That was kind of a waste, huh? I could have picked my ending point a little bit better last time. I think I'm just going to keep with this story, just go through chapter by chapter. I think that's how I'm going to keep going it. I was trying to break up the monotony a little bit, shorten them up, but this game's just one that you just need to read through, I believe. All right. You and 42% of players stayed quiet when you saw Marcus in the tunnel. You and 64% of the players stepped in front of Dennis to protect him. And you and 65% of players were easy on Marcus after he surrendered. Begin chapter 3. Ooh, look at this control panel. Damn, homie. We follow Marcus into what I can only describe as a control room of sorts. There are countless computer screens, some of which are obviously coming back on from when having been shut off. Everything looks extremely complicated, from screens filled with code and data to what is obviously a security system. It reminds me of a miniaturized version of the operations center in just about every space travel movie I've ever seen. Marcus is running from one screen to another, apparently looking for some pertinent bit of information. Where's the first aid kit? I snap at him. Marcus stops in his tracks, as if he has forgotten the whole reason for bringing us down here. Oh yeah, he says, rushing to the left side of the room. There. He hunkers down by an open panel in the wall. What I assume is the emergency vault from where he got the rifle. Do I wanna sneak and see what's on the computer monitors, or see what's going on in that open vault? I don't think. I don't know. He said some of the computer monitors were just booting up, so I don't know if they really give a lot of information. I'm gonna look at the computer monitors. I'm looking at the computer monitors. I can make sense of very little that I see, mostly numbers, odd-looking maps, and charts. Altogether, they show what I assume is the working, beating heart of the peculiar facility Dennis and I have stumbled into. Aside from the charts, There are scrolling numbers running along the bottom of the screen. Some are temperature readings, but that's all I can tell for sure. I see one screen in particular that I assume would mean bad news for anyone using these monitors for work. Failure. Trial 142B. Aborted. Error. 4532-5. Danger. Anomaly detected. Marcus finally pulls out of the first aid kit and turns around. When I look back to motion Dennis over, he's paler than ever. Come on, I tell him. But he's not moving from the place on the floor that he sits against the wall. I slide the first aid kit over to him and go scrambling to his side. Between the struggle for the rifle upstairs and arriving in this room, he's faded fast. I struggle to lift his shirt up and then over his shoulders as the dried blood holds it in place. The mere act causes him to grimace. This might hurt a little, I tell Dennis. He only nods. He doesn't seem to care. Well, we're gonna rip the shirt off. Rip it. Figuring that the old rip off a band-aid metaphor applies here, I tear the shirt off from him quickly. Plus, I don't feel like we exactly have a lot of time. Dennis lets out a scream of pain and fury. What the hell, man? Sorry, I say, casting the bloody shirt aside for the moment. Wincing in pain, he leans back against the wall and takes a series of deep breaths. His wounds is more visible now, although it's particularly hidden in the blood that has started to clot around it. My medical knowledge is slim. Basically just a bunch of basics I learned in Boy Scouts. I look over to Marcus, hopefully, and ask, "You have any training?" "Zero," he says. "Sorry." "It's just as well, I guess." He's far too concerned with what's happening on the monitors to be much of help anyways. I start by taking out the several rolls of gauze within the kit and wipe as much blood as I can away from the wound on his side. It's even worse than I had figured from the start. The gash is deep and dark. I'm pretty sure it's infected too. He's going to need stitches, that's for sure, but I have no idea how to even start that. Besides, I don't see the tools for it in the kit. When I splash rubbing alcohol over the wound, he responds with a hoarse yelp of surprise, but nothing more. His eyes are locked on me, and he looks appreciative, but he's also scared. "Be honest, Dennis," says, hopefully. "How bad does it look? You think I'll live?" Man, you never want to give this kind of news to him. We got to keep him hopeful though, because if I tell him it looks really bad, then he gets down on himself and then things just escalate quicker. So we definitely have to be more positive in this situation. "Good to know," he says, "because I sure don't feel like that." "You've been through hell," I say. Excuse me. "I think it feels worse than it actually looks." "Thanks. That's a relief." "I won't lie. You're going to have a scar," I say, trying to be funny. He chuckles a bit, but there's no humor in it. He rests his head against the wall and closes his eyes as I finish up. I place one layer of gauze against the wound and bind it with medical tape. I then reinforce it with a second layer. I know it's meager, but it's all I can do. "Thanks, Roger," he says, actually managing to force out a smile. "I feel a lot better. I think I'll be fine." I'm not so sure about that, but I'm glad I was able to encourage him. Finally, I patched the bruises on my head a bit, cursing myself again for not grabbing my hard hat. I look back to Marcus, and he's looking back at us, deep in thought. My eye is starting to really swell up from where he kicked me earlier. Maybe I shouldn't have left him off so easy. "Are these first aid kits all you have in this facility?" I ask him. If there's something better, I don't know about it. I notice then that his defensive posture is no longer there. Something is different now. Just a slight change to his demeanor. He's seen something on those monitors that has him frightened, more than he already was before. What is it? What's wrong? His eyes travel around the room, and it's obvious that he's trying to decide whether or not to tell me the truth. I'm gonna get... See, yelling at people never works. So, honey. Drops of honey, guys. All you need is a little drop of honey. It's the best way to get people to do what you want. Rather than wait for him, I get up and scan the screens behind him, seeing if I can find any clues where I missed moments ago. After a few moments, I see a few things that even I can comprehend hidden in the complex information on most of these screens. On one screen, I see what looks like a new power meter that is slowly climbing upwards. A single message is flashing beneath it. It reads, "Unexpected power failure. Foreign entity." Another message trickling along the bottom of a black screen says, "Safety locks on, level 3 containment, doors engaged. Override?" I see still scenes on a few of the other screens that I assume are security cameras showing hallways and passages from elsewhere in the facility. One of them shows the first level hallway we were on just a few moments ago. Another shows a hallway I don't recognize. The floor is covered in blood. From just off the screen, I see what I think might be a human body, but it's bent in an impossible way. It looks like the body's leg and torso have somehow been merged or melted into the floor. Excuse me. What's wrong with the systems? What happened to that person there? Well, he's not going to know what happened to the person, so I'm going to go ahead and go with the systems. This place has backups for its backups, Marcus says. It's not ever supposed to suffer a full electrical shutdown. And what does foreign entity mean? I ask, hoping he has some answer. I have no idea. That keeps coming off and on. Whatever it is, it keeps entering and exiting to set off the sensors. What the hell? I ask. There's something still happening. We're still in danger? He turns away, clearly fearing he has already said too much. And as bad as that is, there's a scene on another monitor that makes my blood go cold and my fear spike to levels somewhere near terror. The scene is very familiar. It's the logging site. The equipment is unmistakably mine. I can even see my truck. Something like fury starts to rise up in my guts, momentarily pushing aside the fear. For a moment, I consider just tearing into him. A few punches and shove against the wall. Nothing more. I want answers, and I want them now. But I'm not sure which would provide more answers, asking calmly or kicking his ass. What did I just say? What did I just say, guys? A little bit of honey. A little bit of honey goes a long way. Alright. Ask him calmly. Could you please explain to me why you've been spying on my crew? My anger is prodding at me and I have to hold it back again. It's near the surface, demanding a release. It was part of my job. Mine and a few others. Your crew has been watched ever since you set up your equipment. Why? Because you're working with heavy equipment, some of which digs into the ground, less than a mile from a secret government facility. I had no idea of that, I say. How could I have known? Marcus gives me that same crooked, trembling smile that is beginning to creep me out. Because those things would draw attention to this place, he says. You have no idea how secretive this facility is. Besides, I know that the higher-ups looked into it. Your site isn't on government land. It's shy by about 300 yards. Every piece of your equipment is on private property. A timber tract that you purchased from Mr. Gladstone 2 months ago. So even if we wanted to intervene and keep your crew away, we couldn't have without stirring up a fuss. The fact that someone with such a low level of clearance knows this much about my logging crew is unnerving. If you've been watching us, why didn't you recognize us when we met in the hallway? I ask. He shakes his head and exhales, like it's obvious. The cameras have a bird's eye view. I can't see faces. We just track bodies and names. Calmly. Honey, guys. Ask calmly. So since you have all this surveillance, do you know where the rest of my crew is? I do my best to keep my voice level, even though my impulse is to shout. Well, Marcus says, all of you were on site as usual before the incident. It had been a few hours since I had checked though. They might have come near the facility, or maybe not. I don't know. He says this casually, like it's not important. Well, are they inside the facility? I ask. You have cameras everywhere, right? Do you see them? Marcus shakes his head. I've been looking all over and I haven't seen your crew. They aren't here. But, he adds, the lower levels don't have any cameras. Classified. I'm not sure how they would have gotten there, but it's a possibility. I'm still shocked that we were being watched. Do they know everything about us? I'm telling you, Marcus said. The depth of influence in this facility goes deep. There are 36 employees down here. Outside of those employees, only 5 other people know this place exists. Calmly. Continue to ask calmly. What do all these people do here? I ask, keeping my voice level. He doesn't even pause to consider if he should go any further. He actually laughs when he gives me the answer. I honestly don't know everything. Probably very little. But what I do know is that it's more important than Black Ops. What does that mean? I ask. There are scientists here who have been disowned by their own governments because of the nature of their work. You get it now? I don't. Not at all. But I don't want him to know about that. You said there are 36 employees, I say. Where are they now? He shakes his head. As far as I know, everyone else is gone. Gone where? He points to the screen that still informs us of the unexpected power failure and cringes. If this power failure was not corrected in time, there's no telling. But they're here in the facility somewhere, right? I ask, hoping someone will be able to help Dennis better than I can. I just don't know, Marcus said. They could be anywhere. Look, I say, furious with the way he's talking in riddles. I don't... Ah, God, Dennis says. I look over to him and he looks as pale as a ghost. He stood up and his eyes are locked on the monitor closest to him. What? I ask. He simply points to the monitor and looks away. I look to the monitor and see the logging site. But more specifically, I see the overturned dozer and the leg sticking out from under it, wearing work boots, right where I left him. Tony. The fact of his death seems abstract almost, like it happened in some other world or a very long time ago. I know that you already told me he was gone, Dennis whispers, but it's different, actually seeing him. My God. Suddenly something blazes by the open door outside. The shape is fastened in shadow, but I'm pretty sure it's a person. Someone else is here, Marcus says, wheeling around. He sounds very happy to discover this, so I try to follow his lead. If something bad happened at this facility, then surely the sight of another survivor is a good thing, right? We should check it out, he says. I realize this isn't the best moment to leave Dennis, after revisiting Tony's death all over again. Someone just ran by the door, I tell him. Hopefully it's someone who can help us. You gonna be okay? It's fine. Go see who it is, he says, giving me a mock thumbs up. I turn to Marcus and motion for us to head out to investigate. Let's be careful, Marcus says. Depending on who it is, they might not be hesitant to shoot a stranger as I was. I nod at him as I head for the door. I'm still holding the rifle in my hand and I don't know if I have the guts to actually use it if needed. With a final look back to Dennis, I run out in the second-level hallway. Oh shit, guys, it's getting real. It's getting real up in here. Marcus follows. There's still fear in his eyes, but also the slightest glimmer of hope. That hope is contagious. We take off after the figure that just ran past the command center. Ahead of us, the facility presents yet another long hallway. Right away, I noticed that this level of the facility seems darker, even though the lights are on now. The hallway is adorned with numbered yellow doorways and large white panels along the walls. It's clean and well maintained, but there's something ominous about it. Up ahead, I see the fleeting motion of something dark cutting quickly to the left, down a corridor. There, I say quietly, pointing up ahead. Marcus gives a nod and we continue chasing after the person we saw blaze by the command center just a moment ago. It then occurs to me that this person could be like Marcus was at first, armed and scared. I'm not going to shout at him then. Not going to shout. Move slowly. When we reach the intersection in the hallway, where we'd seen the shadow moving, I ease around the corner just in case. Sure, I have the rifle in my hands, but I don't want to use it unless I have to. I quickly dart around the corner and take the same shooting stance I've seen countless times on TV. There's a woman standing there, about 10 feet away. She has reddish blonde hair and a small, mousy build. She looks terrified and is visibly shaking. She's probably in her late 30s, wearing a lab coat with dark jeans and green Converse low tops. I have a strange sense that her fear is not just about our sudden appearance. She looks like a woman who's been running scared for a while now. Her hands are raised in surrender. She's not holding a weapon. Marcus slowly approaches, taking a few steps back ahead of me. "It's Amy, right?" he asks. She blinks, seemingly surprised that he knows her name. Yes, she says. "And you're Mark?" "Marcus." She nods absently and then looks to my rifle. "I'm not going to use it." "Now how do I know that?" she asks. "You're trespassing on government property in the midst of a huge, catastrophic event, and you have a rifle. How am I supposed to believe you?" "I have a friend back in the command center who needs medical attention," I say, "and we're looking for the rest of our crew. I'm really sorry, but I don't know where they are," she says. "Do you know what's happened?" Marcus asks. "From the power outage?" "I don't know what caused it," she says, "but there was an experiment taking place when the outage occurred. Something happened and..." She trails off here, giving me a look of distrust. "I saw things on the security monitors," Marcus says. "The experiment failed, didn't it?" "I don't know the specifics. I barely escaped the 3rd floor. I was going to the command center to see if the security footage showed anything, but then I saw you and the gun. Listening to the conversation, I'm feeling totally in the dark." What experiments? What has you scared?" I'm assuming whatever they were trying to create or produce in the experiments is what makes her scared. So, Amy looks to me, her eyes wide and terrified. "Who are you, anyways?" she asks. I quickly give her my story. A logger stranded in the woods following a peculiar explosion at the logging site. As I tell her, recognition blooms in her eyes. "You're one of the loggers?" "Yes." She then looks to Marcus and says, "I thought they were being watched." "They were," Marcus says. "This was a freak accident and there's no proof that they were responsible." I feel myself wanting to submit to all of the questions that they were piling up in my head, but Dennis is waiting for me. Ask about medical help. You gotta help my boy Dennis. I decided that despite my curiosity, I need to get Dennis's help as soon as humanly possible. "Look, is there any medical help to be had here or not?" "Probably," Amy says, "but you'd have to find Colonel Barksdale. He knows where all those sorts of supplies are." "And where is he?" Where's everyone else? At this, Amy starts to weep. She falls to her knees as if someone had struck her from behind. Gone, she says. Some were killed, and some were just... I don't know. They disappeared right in front of me. Alright, what the hell is going on here? Something's here with us, Amy says. We were conducting an experiment, and it all went horribly wrong. Something came through. Came through what? Marcus asks. I don't even know that much. An entity? But whatever it is, it's still here somewhere. How could you not know? Don't you have full security access? No, I have access to almost everything, but there are 2 levels of security beyond my clearance. So, what do you suggest we do now? I'm not sure, she says, wiping her tears away. But if you want to find your crew, we need to find Barksdale. He's in charge. Where is he? I ask. Down on the 3rd level, in the hangar. Then, let's go. It's not that easy, Amy says, again looking at the rifle in my hands. Why not? Like I said, something came through when the power went out. There's several of them, all roaming the 3rd level. What came through? All I know is that the others referred to them as entities. Amy shudders as she recalls the horrors she has seen. I don't even know how to describe them. I didn't get a good look. All I did was run for my life. Behind me I heard screams. I know it's not very scientific of me, but I didn't feel like sticking around to learn more. She's right, Marcus says, stopping my train of thought. The things I saw on the monitor, it was scary. This is insane, I bark. I'm going to the 3rd level to find this Barksdale guy. Thanks for your help. Wait, Marcus says. I'm sticking with you. If we want to get out of here, we have to find Barksdale, right? Yes, Amy says, but Barksdale on the 3rd floor. And it's too dangerous to go back there. I figure I'll let them make their own decisions. In the meantime, I start heading back to the command center to get Dennis. Before I get there, I hear footfalls behind me, getting closer. I give Amy a questioning look and she quickly looks away, clearly torn. Neither one of you know your way around here, she says. Looking for Barksdale on your own would be suicide. Like it or not, she has a point. Fine, I say. Then let's get Dennis from the command center and head down together. Shit's getting real up in here. We enter the command center and I'm happy to see that Dennis has regained some of his color. We're going to get you some help, I tell him. And then we're going to find a crew and get the hell out of here. More help would be great, he says. With the way you ripped off my shirt earlier, I'm not letting you touch me again. Wait, Amy says. Maybe one of us should stay here with him. I'll be okay, Dennis says. He stands to his feet with a grunt. You don't know what's out there, Amy says. I saw them. I saw what they can do. This facility is not safe. Well, what can they do? Never mind, she says. Come on, we just need to be careful. Marcus looks a little hesitant, but he nods his agreement, and the 4 of us exit the command center. Heading back out in the hallway, I look back to the monitors. I take a final look at the screen that shows the wrecked logging site, and feel a pang of sorrow. Then I look to the other monitors, showing live feeds of the facility's security cameras. I try to tell myself that I'm not looking for any sign of Amy's creatures, but I can't. That's exactly what I'm doing, and there's no need to pretend otherwise. We head back through the hall and towards the elevator. The tension exists between us. It's like a physical presence. Continue on, good sir. We step inside the elevator, and those pristine doors close. Inside the elevator, Amy seems to become much much more guarded and distant from us. I want to assure her that I mean her no harm, but I'm also not going to put the rifle down. So you have pretty high clearance in this place, right? I ask her. That's right. So what kind of experiment are we talking about? What went wrong? When she starts to answer my question, I can tell that it's something of a relief for her to get some of it off her chest. There's been a lot of work on a project taking place here over the last 3 years or so. The purpose is to find out if there's any real viable science behind point-to-point instantiation? Like teleporting, I ask. Oh my God, Marcus says. I had no idea. I knew there was some weird stuff here, but nothing this insane. It's really not all that insane, Amy says. We found our first major breakthrough about 9 months ago. We were able to transport a live rat from its cage on level 3 to a small lab in New Mexico. The trip took the rat 5 seconds. Are you kidding me? Dennis says. I can tell that he wants to sound as if he is mocking the idea, but he fails. He's scared. Not at all, Amy says. The problem was that when the rat arrived, its retinas were detached and its intestines were on the outside of its body. Did you ever perfect it? Well, about 6 months ago, we successfully made that same experiment. The rat arrived in great health, and this time, in just 3 seconds. Still, one of the things that we needed to tweak in order to make the process completely safe was how to figure out how to keep the subject on a straight course. When the matter is being transported, not only are its atoms being unknit and then put back together upon arrival, unknit or transported? Let's go with unknit. Yes, deconstructed and translated through space. It's the only way we know how to do it right now. But the issue, as I said, comes in keeping the deconstructed subject on a straight course to its destination. When the process occurs, we are deforming space-time. We are creating a shortcut through space, and that has risks. Why, exactly? Dennis asks. Because there are many more dimensions in space than the 3 we exist on, she explains. There's some evidence that there are as many as 10. So when you send the rat to New Mexico, it's traveling through another dimension to get there, basically. And because of that, we were trying to get better understanding of what those other dimensions are capable of. Things that a great deal of the population would be scared of if they knew what we were doing, hence all the privacy. Then today, the power went out as we were right in the middle of an experiment. Something happened. What? I don't know. She's speaking with authority of someone who knows what she's talking about. Is that why those creatures are here? What have you seen in these dimensions? Is that why those creatures are here? That's my assumption, she says. I wasn't present for the experiment. I'm not cleared for such things, but I do get the reports. What reports? Marcus asks. I'm given access to the results of the tests. In other words, Marcus replies, clearly upset, you guys have been peeking into other dimensions and taking notes on what you see. I can't believe I've wasted my life for this, he murmurs to himself. He looks like he's starting to freak out. Amy's quiet. Her expression indicates that she's waiting to see how I react to all this. People are saying, well, chastising is not going to help, so that's incredible. So this is like interdimensional stuff, I ask. In a way, Amy answers. Marcus, on the other hand, is incredulous. I don't want anything to do with this, he says. All this time I've been working for, he laughs cruelly. and the sound of it makes my blood go cold for a moment. Just a single level beneath my feet, you assholes have been tearing apart space and time, Marcus continues. When the elevator doors open, I can't get out fast enough. The tension is growing way too thick for my liking. Outside of the elevator, we step out into what appears to be a massive industrial area. The carnage waiting for us is unlike anything I'd seen in the upper levels. Holy shit. The area looks industrial, like everything was built for utility only. But more noticeably than that is all the blood. My God, I've never seen so much blood. Those creatures must have had a field day. Holy shit, Marcus says, looking like a man that just woke up from a very bad dream. There were more personnel in this area when the experiment went haywire, Amy says, as if the explanation makes it all better. The research you all do down here had better be worth it, I say. We have to get moving, or we're going to lose our nerve. Amy, let's focus. Barksdale is in the hangar, I ask. If he's still alive, yes, that's where he'll be. Then let's hurry. As far as I can tell, Dennis is doing much better, but I'm beginning to grow tired of trying to keep my fear at bay. Between the blood on the floor, the silence of level 3, and Amy's talk to the lab rats, I'm getting freaked out. Well, I don't know where the hangar is, so why wouldn't Amy lead? Go. You take the lead. The four of us start walking ahead, with me in the lead. We stop walking when the remains of what looks like 3 different people. It is hard to tell how many bodies there were because they have been torn to shreds and are distorted. 2 of the bodies looked as if they've been fused together. Another man looks to have his leg welded through the floor. I can see this man's face. He died in an abject state of horror, his mouth pried open in an eternal scream. We gotta keep moving. We gotta keep moving. It's simply too much. Worse than that is the fact that we've just started our journey through level 3. If there's worse waiting up ahead, I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it. Dennis steps up beside me. When he speaks, his voice is soft and flat. What in the hell could do that to someone? He asks. The things I saw, Amy answers. They could do it pretty easily, I think. She looks pale, and I think that she may pass out at any moment. Tears spill from her eyes, and she is visibly shaking. But she soldiers on, looking back to me and stepping to the side of the gruesome carnage. Her eyes again go to my rifle, and she doesn't look very hopeful. You good to go? She asks me. We need to move on, but for some reason, I can't take my eyes off the scene. My mind is reeling, trying to process it all. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Let's get out of here. We leave the grisly sight behind, moving into another equally destroyed area. From what I can tell, the next room was once an open area for experimentation. The place hasn't just been destroyed. It's been physically altered in a way that makes no sense. The girders look to have been warped, their very materials distorted and twisted. To my right, a machine has been catapulted and looks like it's somehow merged with the wall rather than crashing into it. Beyond this phenomena, there's the standard violence I was expecting to see. There's a limp arm sticking out from underneath the wreckage, and more blood. I see no signs of explosion, which makes me wonder just how this happened. Seeing the aftermath is sickening enough, but it makes me wonder if Amy saw it while it was happening. Did you see what happened to those girders? I only caught a glimpse of it, she says. It was like trying to focus your eyes on something that was too close. They just started twisting, but not creaking or breaking. It's like these creatures are able to deform matter. She pauses here, and that's when we hear something echo through the facility. It comes from behind us and slightly to the right. I'm not sure what it is, but it makes my blood feel like ice. It sounds almost like static from an AM radio, but there's a high-pitched noise beneath it that I can't even start to fathom. What in the hell is that? I ask, instantly clapping my hands to my ears. One of them, Amy says, her voice a whisper. One of the creatures. That's what they sound like? Dennis asks. I see that he leans against the wall and, again wincing at the noise, I suddenly realize that I have a death grip on the rifle, ready to shoot at the next thing I see. Anything between us and them? Not really, she says. None of the hallways are blocked off by secure doors. Everyone seems to take this as a cue to start moving again. We make our way around the office wreckage, now with a new purpose in our step. We barely make it to the other side of the room, approaching a dark hallway, when another high-pitched noise sounds out. This one is louder, closer. We all share a terrified look, and I can tell that Amy is on the verge of losing it. I grip the rifle tightly and we head towards the hallway in front of us. How much further to the hangar? Close, she says. It's just at the end of this hallway. Dennis speaks up, his voice like ice. Why don't we just haul ass then, huh? No one says anything after that, but I can feel the presence of terror around us, pressing in on us like some new violent gravity. Oh shit, guys! I'm so scared! Oh man, look at that. Uh-oh. The small utility hallway is well lit. It looks as if it is designed to be used by select maintenance workers. What goes on in this area? I ask. I'm looking at Marcus as I ask the question, but he only shrugs in response. She might know, he replies, pointing at Amy. I've never been down here before. It's just a utility hallway, Amy says. But at the end there is a maintenance room. There should be a gun or two in there. It's also the most direct path to the hangar entrance. As we walk quickly and quietly down the hallway, I take a glimpse ahead and feel the hair on my back of my neck stand on end. The lights become more sparsely spaced, and it's impossible to see just how far the hallway extends into the darkness. This hallway has the occasional trace of bloodshed, but nothing like the main area we've come from. We continue farther down, and just as I begin to see what looks like a large metal door further ahead, I hear yet another shrill sound. This one sounds farther away, but no less demonic. How many of these things did you see? Dennis asks Amy. 3. But that's just what I saw. There could be more. What did they look like? Dennis asks. Yeah, what are we dealing with? What are we dealing with? I don't even know how to explain them. Monsters? That's the only word I can think of. My mind seemed to struggle just trying to understand what I was seeing. They're big, and they seem to jerk around every few feet or so. They look like they're made of light. That's about all I know for sure. You know, my ex-husband always said I'd let my work kill me, she continues, seemingly unable to stop herself. I mean, I doubt he imagined this exact scenario, but still. As we make our way to the hangar doors, another high-pitched noise rings out, angrier now. Amy stops walking, causing all of us to stop and turn to her. We have to do something to slow those things down. No, Marcus snaps. There's no time. We need to distance ourselves and get to the hangar. Fast. Amy ignores him. Deep in thought, there's an old hydraulic door set into the wall right here, she says. It hasn't been used for years, though. She looks to me, pleading her case. Together we might be able to pull it closed behind us, to keep those things back. Those old hydraulic doors weigh a ton, Marcus says. There's no way it'll work. Roger, Amy says. What do you think? They'll have a harder time getting to us if these doors are locked. Look, Marcus shouts, turning to me. We need to get to the hangar. Now. Oh, this one's tough. Ah, shit. Well, it said he was off in the distance. I'm gonna say let's keep moving to the hangar. No, I say to the group. With all the carnage back there, I doubt we could stop them. That's what I'm saying. Marcus agrees. Let's haul ass. Amy tries to speak up, but the rest of us are already running down the hallway. I speed towards the hangar doors, not even looking back to see how far Amy has fallen behind us. Panic and hope are fighting within me, and I can't stop myself from sprinting. The fact that yet another shrill noise sounds out elsewhere in the facility is not calming. And then there are two of them. It's almost like they are calling out to one another. The doors in the hangar sit up ahead, like the entrance to some enormous labyrinth. Did we just kill Amy? Did we just kill Amy? Oh shit. I don't know. When we reach the hangar doors, I get a true sense of how impenetrable they are. A computer terminal is mounted on the wall nearby and has a blinking red light. Any idea what this means? It's an automatic lock, a failsafe from the lockdown. I've never been down here before, Marcus says. If I had known this door was here, I would have opened it earlier. How? Amy asks. The fear in her voice is more present than ever. From the command center, he says. You need to override from there first, then use this terminal to open the hangar doors. The command center on the second floor? I ask. Yeah. Amy shakes her head and lets out a nervous laugh. Do you hear those things? She asks. There's no way in hell I'm going back towards them, through that small hallway. If we want to get into the hangar, we have to get back to the command center, Marcus says. Isn't there another way? Turning to Marcus, Amy replies, well, there is an elevator, but we'll need to go through biochem storage. I need to stay with Dennis so he can rest. I say, you two go. You know your way around this place, and you know the controls, Marcus. Fine, Marcus says, but we'll need to be armed. I'd definitely give it to Marcus. I hand Marcus the rifle and he turns to go. Amy gives me a concerned look, but follows along behind him. Once Amy and Marcus make it a good distance down the hallway, Dennis lets out a nervous laugh. And then there were two, he says. Dennis looks much better, but he still needs to use the wall to standing still. Didn't Amy say that there were guns and emergency kits in the maintenance room nearby? Yeah, I think so, Dennis says, looking exhausted. I look ahead and see a door to the right that reads, maintenance. Might as well give it a try. I go to the door, try to open it, and find that it's locked. Just push with the shoulder. I'm about to try again, but that's when I hear a dry choking sound from just down the hallway. It's barely audible, but it's not my imagination. My first thought is that it's one of the things, one of the monsters. But after calming my nerves and reassessing, it sounds more like a person. I think about how angry and on edge Amy was when she turned to leave, as well as how scared Marcus had looked. Alarm bells sound in my head before I know it. I'm heading back down the hall, away from the hangar doors. Stay here, I'll be right back. I whisper over my shoulder to Dennis. See if you can figure out how to get in that maintenance room. Where are you going? He asks. I don't bother answering him. I bound through the door where Amy and Marcus went. As I enter the biochem room and start walking between the massive silos, I wonder what classified chemicals could be inside of them. I'm fully expecting one of Amy's creatures to come flying out from the intersection of halls up in the head. I think I hear something. Skittering noise, like something moving quickly. I run ahead so fast that I almost trip over two people in a life or death struggle. My mind tries to process what I'm seeing, but it makes no sense. None at all. Marcus is on the floor with Amy pinned beneath him. He has his rifle in hand, at her throat, pushing her down the floor and choking her with it. Her face is turning purple and her eyes look like they might pop out of her head. Marcus sees me coming out of the hallway, but acts as if I was doing what he is doing is perfectly fine. Stop him. I start rushing towards him before I really know what I'm doing. I bring my fist down in a hard arc across the bridge of his nose and am rewarded with a sick cracking sound. He cries out as he falls to the ground, looking at me as if he doesn't understand why I punched him. On the floor, Amy clutches her at her neck and gasps for breath. I start to fear that I was a moment too late, just as I see the rifle has been thrown across the floor. Marcus seems to notice this at the exact same time. Go for the rifle. We both go for the rifle at once. He takes a single stumbling step towards it, wobbling a bit for my punch. I dive for it, and when I hit the floor, it feels like I'm a baseball player trying to steal third. Our hands both fall onto it, but when I yank it away, he manages to kick me, knocking the rifle on the floor again. The kick catches me squarely in my ribs, knocking the breath out of me. "What the hell are you doing?" he yells at me. "By killing her, I'm saving us. All of this was her fault." I sense he truly believes this, but if that's the case, then why not just shoot her rather than strangle her with the rifle? The answer is simple. We would have heard the gunshot, and I, or those things, would have come running. He wanted to kill her quietly. And then what? What would he have done the same to Dennis and me? It seems fitting, really. When we first came upon Marcus, he had the gun on us. I'd been so relieved to see another human being that I underestimated just how unhinged he was. Marcus and I both dive for the rifle, still laying on the floor, start wrestling for possession, but I'm not confident I'll come away with it. As we struggle, he starts inching the muzzle of the gun towards my face, in a position I do not want to be in. I start pushing back hard, but if this thing accidentally fires, I'm not sure where I'd prefer the bullet to go, especially in this room full of chemical tanks. Shit. Let's force it towards Marcus. I grunt as I push the muzzle to point towards his face. Realizing he is literally looking down the barrel of a gun, Marcus ducks his head out of the way. This makes him lose leverage, allowing me to yank the gun from his grip. I get to my feet as quickly as I can, swinging the rifle back around on him. For a moment, I think I've knocked him out, but his eyes flutter and he looks at me as if I've betrayed him. Her people, he says. It was them that did this. She deserves to die. She did this. I looked at Amy and wish I could help her. I'm relieved to see that she is managing to draw in a few breaths. Her legs move as she tries to push herself into a sitting position. "You wouldn't know," Marcus says. "You didn't work here under their secrecy. You don't know what it was like to..." He surprises me by lunging towards me, leaping from the floor like a human projectile. I don't have time to aim carefully. I have to react fast. Oh, shit. Alright, guys. And I'm going to leave it on that note. This has been a very, very long episode, and I did not expect Chapter 3 to be so long. But I think that's a good spot to leave off. That'll leave some suspense, huh? Do I shoot him? Kill Marcus? Or try to dodge him? Let him live? You have to wait and see in the next episode. If you guys liked the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment. I'd love to talk to you, get to know you a little bit. Alright guys, as always, I appreciate you. Thank you. And we'll see you in the next video. King Basics, out.